Hello, hello, hello. Are we here? Are we here? I do not know. I do not know. Okay, so let's see. Looks like we are waiting on Twitch. There we go. Looks like we are both now online. So, let's go ahead and start again. So, as you can see, we've built our walls up a little bit. And we will be transferring them to something else here in a few minutes. So, overview of what we have so far. So, we have our walls with our various decorations. And we have our entrances. We have 4 entrances. We have the one here and one more on each side. So then you go on up here and we have all of this here and there. So let's go ahead, move that. From there, we have the walls of our main build sort of done right here. And I mean, we're moving on to our actual builds. The walls are not finished. So on top of each of these walls, we have, right now, at this very moment, we have a flat top right here. That will have to be changed at some point in time. That is going to change to something else. Haven't quite determined what yet, but we will be changing that to something that goes more with our build style quite soon. Give me one moment. I'm working on something else for just a moment. Trying to pull something up. There we go. Okay. So give me one more moment. Try and pull all of this on up. And we are live. So there we go. There is our chat overlay. Up and running. So from there, let's go ahead and keep going. So as I was saying, we will be editing some of this to fit in with the build style that we are working on here very shortly. It is time to start moving on to our build, which is going to be in here. So we have added a little bit of our height on into this. So our walls out here go from Y4 down here up to Y19. So they are a total of 15 blocks high. We have our builds here going up to 31, which makes them approximately 28 blocks high, I do believe. So this section that is more of the walkway into the build is going to stay that high. This section back here, which is going to be the main part of our build, is actually going to grow a little bit taller. Probably, if I'm being honest, quite a bit taller than that. So we have a little bit more to do and work on. So we have one main thing to address first, and that is that our front section here is too wide. So we are going to work on shortening this a little bit, comparison to the back of this build and some of this, it's just too wide. So we are going to go ahead and shorten that on down by just a little bit. And the first thing we're going to do is going to go ahead and fill it on in. And from there, we're going to go ahead and shave off a little bit at a time. And of course, it's going to tell me that. So let's see, if I set it at 0, will it go? Nope. 10. There we go. And then set this on to -10. And there we go. So head on back this way. And we're going to go ahead and shave off 3 on this side. So 50 to, well, that is 35 to 33. Oh, that did not work right. So let's try this again. Select on that one. There we go. Does that look better? And we would have to shear it off on that side too to get a real look at it, but I think just to be on the safe side, we are going to go ahead and go to 30 and do the same on this side. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold on a minute. So we do have a certain amount of symmetry going on here, so there we go. So if we go ahead and turn off our debug screen and come back here a little bit, for just a moment, we're going to go ahead and turn up our render distance. And if we step back, sort of see those dimensions a little bit. If we pull it up, coming up a little bit farther, I think we're going to be good. So we are going to go ahead and move this. Okay, so this is 50. And this over here is 140. So if we brought it up, I think just to 60 would be enough. There we go. So just adding that little bit on. You know what? I'm going to try 65. Just to be on a little bit more of the safe side. Because glancing at it from at 60, just on that base level, it looks like it's going to be too short. And I forgot to take this down to 4. There we go. And having it brought forward like that, I do like much better. So we are going to go ahead and take out all of this on in here. That we put in not too long ago. Okay. Extend out this wall a little bit. There we go. And then from this side, we're going to go ahead and give it the 3 extra blocks here for our cap. And there we go. So if we go ahead and back off here, the dimensions on that do look much better. So from there, it is a matter of, we're going to work on this first section right now. So Frodo decided on the 3 width here. We are going to go ahead and take this topmost layer on off. Going to go ahead and bring it down. One moment. Going to take that first layer off. Make it a little bit more even. I think the 30 is going to give it a little bit better of a look. And we are going to go ahead and change this back on to match the rest of it. Change it on into sandstone. Oh, we did not. Okay. We just messed that up. Okay. Need to go to this corner. Yep, I want the negative. So back over this way. Okay. Take this on back down to 16. Whoa. Something seems to be going on. Sorry, I seem to have been having a keyboard glitch for a minute there. Let's see. Seem to be having a small keyboard glitch. That seems to have fixed it. Go ahead and change this fill to clone, which it should have been at the beginning. So we are going to go ahead and take that on down to 20. Change this to 25. And that should almost fix it. Brings it back up to level 30. And then from there we are going to go back to that sandstone one and add the end of that we forgot. And go ahead and change that on into sandstone. So, I'm going to go ahead and back up a little bit because we start running into the first of our issues. And that is the fact that up till now, pretty much our entire build is nothing but sandstone. And we're going to need to start adding in some elements that will break this up. So if we back up and we go back here, you can see where it's got the distinct line right here, but without it, it blends very easily. It's hard to see where one wall. So best example is right in here where that arch is. It's hard to see. The top of the arch vanishes because it blends. Now, we either change it to a different sandstone block, which we sort of run into the same issue because once again, it is still any of the sandstone, unless we transform it completely into red sandstone, is going to give us the same look. Or we change it into a block that we know is going to be found in the desert, but can be theoretically used in a build like this. So, and I seem to be suddenly having some issues again. Gonna have to transfer over to the other one. Okay, so switched over to our other keyboard, and that seems to have fixed most of them. We will have to keep an eye on that. As we were saying, I can use any of our other sandstone blocks that are down here. We've got a regular sandstone, the cut sandstone, or the smooth sandstone, as well as the chiseled sandstone. And from far away, there isn't going to be a difference because they are all the same color. You get up close, and the design of this is going to be different. And that we can use to a small degree. Some of this down here is even going to get changed to, once you start adding in some. So, okay, let's start over from this. So, as you can see, it's the same color. If we back up, they're going to look, for the most part, the same. There isn't a real big difference. It's once you get close that the difference becomes close. And so using the varieties like this is details. Details aren't visible as much until you get up close. These aren't design as much details like this so much as cosmetic details. So to break up a build like this, that doesn't really work. We do have a second sandstone in here, the red sandstone, which could theoretically and that's going to be that. So if we back up, you're able to see that there is still that distinct difference in here. And that could certainly work in a survivor build. It may come down to the question of if you could get that much red sandstone, because whatever color you make this is going to be the main color in your build as well. You're not going to have as many of those alternating colors as you would in some of the other builds. And so we have to look at our build palette and see, or at our build options, block options, and see what blocks theoretically would go with this. So stone would work, but isn't something I really want to go with. You want something that really goes with the sand. So I have a couple of options. We can jump on over to buildpalette.com. And, or block palette, not build palette, but block palette. And filter by block, and we type in sandstone. It will give us 5 other blocks that will go with sandstone that they've already determined. Or you can go visit the desert and try and decide more that way. And I can't, let's see, can I split the screen? Is it gonna let me split screens at the moment? Let's see. Close that dock. Close that dock. Go ahead and dock that. And add a 1 minute. That won't work. Go ahead and turn off the game capture real quick. And we turn this on for a minute. You can see blockpalettes.com. I typed in sandstone, and you can sort of see the different options it will. And though this would work, again, it's still too blendy, and I don't want to use sand at all. Main reason I don't want to use sand is if I accidentally take it out, half the palace is going to collapse, or that whole section of the palace can collapse because gravity in Minecraft actually works for sand. This one is a little bit interesting, but we're still wanting something that more goes with the sand. I do like the end stone option. Terracotta is also a nice option, which is what we have here. And then of course we have different wood type options. This one gives us another option for terracotta. That one gives us a mushroom block and a couple of concrete options here. We've got a dirt, terracotta, wood, and glass option here. Gold, terracotta, and a couple of wood options here. And so it just gives us a nice variety of different things that we can go with. And though I like the idea of the prismarine and sea lanterns here, it comes down to the question of, this is a more desert build. How are you going to get some of these items? Though it would certainly show off the wealth of this being a palace in that you have something from the water. So, and then we have the terracotta, the glazed terracotta options that it's giving us here. So it gives us plenty of different options. That is a pretty option, but not what I'm thinking of. More with that terracotta option, with maybe a little of this black stone and a little bit of that end stone. So let's go ahead and turn our game capture back on. Oh my game just crashed. Give me one more moment. So we will be back in just a moment. And we're back. We're waiting for our world to load back up, but we are back. Sorry for that small pause. Seem to be getting a slight amount of lag in here. So waiting for this to load back up. Seeing issue with it not updating. And there we go. So got a little bit of lag going on. So let's go ahead and continue from there. So as you can see, the redstone does give it a nice touch, but I am thinking more along the option of our endstone, or more specifically the endstone bricks. We will definitely have to try them out. And then of course the terracotta option. So we do have this redstone option. We have an endstone option, terracotta, yellow terracotta, and white terracotta. So that is that up against the redstone. Let's go ahead and change it up here a little bit. And so you can sort of see how this looks up here. And though I like the end stone look, we are going to go ahead and take that out. And we are going to use a little bit more of this terracotta, specifically the regular terracotta. And we are going to pair it with the redstone up at the top, but for right now, we are going to focus on that. So because we no longer have our fill commands, we are going to have to change them back, put them back in to the system. I do once again have World Edit installed, but we are waiting on that one for just a moment. Now, we are going to go ahead and copy that rather than putting it back in, because we do have one other thing to talk about when we talk about terracotta, and that is that terracotta is a solid block only. You can't make these into stairs, you can't make these into slabs. So, we have to decide real quick, is that going to be alright? And so I am actually going to go back on that decision. We're not going to be able to use terracotta for this main build, because once again, we are going to be using some arches and that kind of thing, and for that we are going to want to use some of those stairs, of those slabs, and so we are going to need to use this red sandstone. We can, of course, change it to a more, or highlight it with some of these other options. But we are going to go ahead and keep it as the red sandstone. So, change this up again. Go ahead and add this in. And take it on all the way up. And once we've got it in, we can always decide to change that. Go ahead and go on back this way. Turn around and look at it. So, once again, put our... Okay, so we're coming across, we're coming up on it. And this is why, first of all, I said the back of the build will be much taller, is because right now all you see is the walls. I do want some of the build visible. We're coming up on it. We're walking, we're walking, we're walking. I see the red and I see the sandstone. Walk on in and you've got the red here. It does make it certainly stand out. So it doesn't look too bad. We just have to decide if that is the look that we are working for. And I think it sort of is. So at the very least, this front section is for the most part going to be that red sandstone. Because I think it will allow us to move into using some of the other ones back here. The other option that we have is... I am going to go ahead and put it in. you do have that option of quartz. And if I'm being 100% honest, that doesn't look too bad. Not bad at all. Now, making it a key building component in a survival world would make this rather impossible. But we do have the quartz option, and that is another one that comes with the quartz stairs and slabs as well. But I think right now it is not one that we are going to go for. So, we've got this front section pretty much set. I do like it against the regular sandstone. And we have this front section up the very front of the thing. So, with this being sort of a walkway, an entry point, more of an entry into the courtyard, this is supposed to, so if I transfer this back over to our display capture, pull this on up, and we go into here, you can see how each one of them has this little area here that sticks out from the build. It's part of the entryway. This one doesn't show it as well, but this one has it. This one has it here. Well, that's one of the Minecraft versions, and it has it here too. You can see they have that sort of entryway, and that is more of what we are working on building. It's covered, but it's open. So when we open this up, most of these blocks are going to come out, and it's going to give us, or we're going to take most of them out, and it's going to leave pillars. I'm thinking arches again, and pillars with a small, like, 3-block section up here, which is going to be the roof. And again, we're probably going to have some arches up here too, but so go 3 in, because that's the minimum width of the wall. And then let's go ahead and take this out, on up. Let's go ahead and grab these redstone pieces. So don't really want the wall. Organize it real quick. I want the red up there, regular up there, put the stairs here, and nope, slab there. Smooth is next. Cut after that with the chiseled on the ends. So from there, again, I want to bring it all the way up and over. We can make this one a little bit wider. Okay, so this is going to be normal. I want this one on either side. 3 here. Ah, well, this works too. Go ahead and take that on all the way out. And then we're going to put in an arch in here. So find the center. Okay. Four on each side. That means these 2 blocks are going to be the center. Going to go ahead and put the 4 blocks here to sort of form up that center. Pull it on down. Same over here in reverse order. And that does not look right. Okay, so definitely not right. There we go. Makes things a bit more even. It's not right, but it is even. So let's see. Okay, much better. So go ahead and add this here. So we can either take this off and put it like that, or we can put it like that. I like that one more. So that one gives us this. There we go. And then of course you can go ahead and add some additional things to it later on. But I'm thinking that is going to be the main section of our arch. Let's see. So like that may come out, and this would come out on this side, but if we kept the pattern up, but we aren't going to go ahead and worry about that. So the only other things that I might add is, go ahead and change this, single block, or something like that. Change that onto something like this. Slabs unfortunately cannot go up and down. Make this much easier if they could. Unfortunately, they can't. And so we're left with something that looks something sort of like this. If we do that. And that certainly does not look bad. I'm not sure that's exactly the look we're going for, but I very much like this top. I do definitely like this top. I'm just not sure the sides here are what we're looking for. So let's go ahead, take a little bit of this out, and see if we can't make it more what we are looking for. Nope, that should be a full one. And that does not look any better either. So that one is 4. So this one should at the very least have one there. $24, $20. Oh, see, 24, 24. Stairs. It's here that the issue starts. 21 should be stairs again. 21, 21. There we go. And then we would go ahead and add that on over here. So That didn't do it either. Okay, what happened there? There we go. And we could even go in and do something like that on the edges or something like that. But I'm not really sure. Or maybe something more like this. Along each of those joints. I'm not sure. And then there could be like potted flowers or something like that. Of course, it would only be like that one, because then you get to this, and we would clone this. So over here we would go 1, 2, 3, and then this one. Oh, too far in. Should be 66. So that gives us this here. There we go. That gives us this. And then back here, we can go ahead. And I'm not sure what happens, but let's go ahead and transform this back on into being. And there we go. And I do like that wraparound. We are definitely going to keep it. But from there, we need to decide this centerpiece. And it needs to be something sort of similar. But I'm thinking not as drawn out. So, let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this one very obviously has the center at 0 right here. So if we go ahead and go on up, my game seems to be glitching again. I can go up, but I can't go down. Okay, that seems to have fixed it. But we then have this centerpiece, and of course we're going to look for that Y0, which is going to be this one right here. Go ahead and go up. Remember, this piece goes up to 30 now. So, the pieces on either side here go up to Y28. So if we even just made this a little bit smaller over here, and we took it up to Y25. And we go ahead and set that as the center. And then wrapped it around like this. We get something like this. I think we're off on where we put that center. We are. This one should be the center. Nope, let's go ahead and add a little bit more of a curve to this. Nope, that's still a straight angle. So let's see. And it's about as close to the circle as we're going to get, and these are all 1 over. There we go. Nope, back out. That helps. And then another clone. And there we go. You step back and you get sort of the look. And of course you want something sort of similar going down each side. And that's where we get our X again.
First position set to 68, 4, 27.
And go ahead and bring this on up this side. Let's see, where does that end? Right here.
Second position set to 66, 29, 8, 1560.
And go ahead and copy.
1560 blocks affected. 0 biomes affected. 0 entities affected.
Rotate by 90.
The clipboard copy has been rotated.
And that should go onto this side. And so, again, 3 in. 1, 2, 3. Flush and paste.
The clipboard has been pasted at -6, 4, 30. 1560 blocks affected. 0 biomes affected. 0 entities affected.
And go ahead and do that again right here.
The clipboard has been pasted at 16, 4, 30.
Oh,
1560 blocks affected. 0 biomes affected. 0 entities affected.
Here.
The clipboard has been pasted at 15, 4, 30. 1560 blocks affected. 0 biomes affected. 0 entities affected. The clipboard has been pasted at 36, 4, 30. 1560 blocks affected. 0 biomes affected. 0 entities affected.
And that works right there. So, from there, we can go ahead and select this here.
First position set to 68, 4, 29, 1716. Second position set to -9, 30, 29, 2106. 2106 blocks affected. 0 biomes affected. 0 entities affected. The clipboard has been pasted at -9, 31, -27. 2106 blocks affected. 0 biomes affected. 0 entities affected. The clipboard has been pasted at -9, 31, -28. 2106 blocks affected. 0 biomes affected. 0 entities affected. The clipboard has been pasted at -9, 31, -29. 2106 blocks affected. 0 biomes affected. 0 entities affected.
And there we have what our outer courtyard type thing is going to look like. And we can go ahead and start adding some more of these design details in here as well. Go ahead and wrap that on around. And there we go. And of course we would have another one wrapping around here. And there we go. A nice add-on that I think we might actually add on to the whole thing to sort of give it a little bit more of a dimensional look. Of course, it will probably transform into another block. So here, if you wanted to use that quartz or any of these really, here's where you would use them. So we've got the couple of different staircases, or if you wanted to use the quartz, I think there is even smooth quartz. So if you really wanted to highlight this, you could even transfer this section into that quartz if you wanted to. And that is a good way to break that up, if I do say so myself. That's an even better way to break that up in there than just putting in the smooth sandstone, is putting in, I would say, the smooth quartz. It's not quite as bright, or sorry, the regular quartz. Or maybe it's the same exact color and I'm just seeing it oddly. Okay, either way, the white there would certainly add a highlight to it as you went up. That would add quite a bit to it. And even if you just left it at the bottom two down here, or maybe the bottom two and this one that had the highlighting, it would add an extra to this that I think would look really pretty, especially if you then topped this top with, if we say, went to the decorations. And I mean, there's several things you could top it with, but you're probably going to start with and I'm suddenly not seeing it. There it is. A flower pot. Gonna start with one of these. If you added the right texture pack, you could probably even get some vases that would look very nice in this. But otherwise, you aren't really going to get it. You might add some, if you're going to do the quartz, you might be able to and it doesn't seem like we have it. But I know if we go back to the red sandstone, we do. If you wanted to use something like that and sort of give it the box look for the flowers, you could add and give it that dimensional look. You could add a wall there, and there you might even, I mean, there's a couple of different types of walls here. You might do a regular sandstone wall, might do the red sandstone wall, or that might be where you add something like an andesite wall or a diorite wall. If you're going to use the quartz, you might add some of this andesite in here to make it look like it's quartz, but so if we went over here, maybe it's a quartz, but because it sticks out from the rest of the wall, it's been a little bit more weathered, and it's collected some of the dust of the road, and so it's got some of that dirt and grime and dust on it. And then you might even add some water to it. Oh, that's a stair. So you could just add some water to it. And even do something sort of like that, though you can't really see the water from down here. You could see it from up here, but that is completely up to you. Now, you could even go in and replace these walls with, if you wanted to, with something like, oh, birch would do it. If you wanted to actually be able to see the wall, the water, you could go in and add the gates or the fence, and that could work. Of course, if you're going to do that, you're going to want a different set of stairs here. Probably do the stairs that match, and you could even break it up with the gates. And maybe you just want to do gates all the way across. I don't know why they aren't perfectly conjoined. Oh, because it conjoined with the wall. Otherwise, that is completely up to you. I personally like the look of this diorite wall. It brings out some of the red in the redstone, but it also brings out the bright white of the quartz, which we have here. Something sort of like that. And on that note, it sort of breaks that up a little bit. I like it. If I'm being honest though, we would probably go with, if you're gonna do that, you would probably go with a polished diorite stairs. On that note, however, we are gonna go ahead and stop here. We've got this section of the walls done. We would have to come in with the roof next, which we would have to then decide what kind of a roof we're gonna do. And we will decide that on our next episode or our next live stream, which is probably going to be tomorrow evening or such. And we will have these first section of the walls finished tomorrow when we meet again. Thank you for watching this live stream, creative live stream, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great and wonderful